Okay, let's start off taking x-intercepts and going to an equation. So in the notes, we can see that we have an x-intercept of 2, 0 and 6, 0. So I'm going to start off by saying x equals 2 and x equals 6. That's 2 above, 2, 0. Now, I want to get these equations equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. X minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. X minus 6 equals 0. Then I'm going to put these things in brackets side by side. X minus 2 and x minus 6. It could be equal to 0. Excuse me. It could be equal to 0, or it could be equal to y, or whichever. But here is our quadratic equation. They ask for standard form. Excuse me, let's FOIL it out. X squared minus 8x plus 16. Y equals or equals 0. Notice I switched those up. Either way, all good. Draw it with a graph. Check it on your graphing calculator. Make sure it's correct. Look for the x-intercepts. We're going to have a full page on using the graphing calculator. Okay, so that's finding it one way. Now, what if I said x was equal to 1/2 and x was equal to 4 in the next example? Well, we could be lazy and go x minus a half, and x minus 4 inside the brackets, just reversing the process just like we did above. But lots of times I don't want any fractions. So let's not do it that way. Let's get it equal to 0. Let's times those sides by 2. So 2x equals 1. Then minus 1 from both sides. 2x minus 1. Get it equal to 0. Subtract 4 from both sides. X minus 4 equals 0. Put those things in brackets side by side. Y equals 2x minus 1 and x minus 4. Then FOIL it out. And you're not going to get any fractions like you can see in the notes of the example above compared to the example below. But either way, let's graph both these things. What happens, they both have x-intercepts at 4. Excuse me, use your lines. At 4 and 1/2. And one of them is just flatter with the same x-intercepts. And one is just steeper with the same x-intercepts. Kind of fun. So the next page I'm not doing, but I'll show you and draw a little bit. So they might give you an x-intercept and an a value. And you can still go into factored form, but they're going to give you an a value, so you have to put the a in front, being whatever it is, in our general formula. So be careful with those again. They might give you an a value of 2, so you put 2 in for a. So again, with fractions, here, get them equal to 0 again. Put your things in brackets. Then FOIL it out and find the a value, etc. Or they might give you, for example, 2 x-intercepts. So you can put those in, but then they give you a point where that's x, y. You have to substitute -6 for y and 2 for x in both locations. Then solve for a and rewrite it and find a, or whichever. Okay, so, one more. So we briefly touched a little bit on this. So first of all, at the top, factor it, get it equal to 0, set your factors equal to 0, separate and solve, get your x-intercepts. But let's say you were given the graph below. Well, we find what the axis of symmetry is by doing the average of the two x values. Adding them up, dividing it by 2, getting the x vertex value, putting it in for x, like you would be doing into a table of values, figuring out what y is, getting your vertex. So remember, we can find the x value of the vertex halfway between two horizontal points, for example, x-intercepts. So a little review. We found standard or factored form with x-intercepts or a values, and then we talked a little bit more about how the axis of symmetry, the thing that cuts it vertically in half, symmetrical on both sides, is exactly x equal the average of the x values of the two horizontal points. Okay, that's finding the equation.